Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Judge Corey Amanda Cotham. We're here for the afternoon session of First Appearance Court. I will begin with the first appearance docket, and then we'll go to the hearing docket after that. Just a reminder to everyone that everything we say is being recorded and can be used against you at a later date. So I do encourage you to speak with your attorney before speaking on the record this afternoon. Before we get started, Mr. Reedy, is there anyone that the jail has requested to be called out of turn?
And not as I've been advised, Judge.
Okay. In light of that, I have Mr. Plant here, so if we have these individuals in the room, then we'll start off with a couple of municipal ordinance cases. Good afternoon, Mr. Plant.
They're there. Well,
Okay.
and
All
they
right.
want to resolve.
So the first one I have is Mr. William McGrath. He's on page 3.
He's approaching, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, he advised me he wants to resolve his case.
I'm sorry?
Bottom center.
He advised he wants to resolve his case. It's adjudicate time served.
What is the medication for?
We just got the phone.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. McGrath. For the record, you're before the court this afternoon on a misdemeanor capias. This is a municipal ordinance violation for lodging on city-owned property. Your attorney, Mr. Plant, has advised me that the city's offered to you is an adjudication time served if you would like to resolve the case today, Mr. McGrath. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Mr. McGrath, do you understand everything we've discussed so far today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to trial, but you are waiving that right by taking a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No.
Okay. And do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that taking a plea will subject you to deportation or other immigration changes?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what plea do you wish to enter? Guilty or no contest?
Guilty.
All right, Mr. McGrath, I accept your plea and find that it is freely and voluntarily given. For the record, I find probable cause. And once again, your sentence will be an adjudication time served. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Look, sir.
Okay. Next will be Rashawn King on page 3.
It's coming up, Judge.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. King.
Gotcha.
Mr. King, you're before the court this afternoon on a municipal ordinance violation for resisting arrest without violence. I find probable cause. And Mr. Plant, what are we doing in Mr. King's case?
Judge, Mr. King, he's advised me he wants to resolve his case.
Okay.
The offer is adjudicate time served.
Adjudication time served?
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication time served from Rashawn King.
Okay. So, Mr. King, if you want to resolve your case today, the offer's an adjudication time served. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. Will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Mr. King, do you understand everything we've discussed so far today?
Yes.
Okay. Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
Do you understand that you have the right to trial, but you're waiving that right by taking a plea?
Yes.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
Yes.
Is there anything about that illness today that impacts your ability to accept this plea?
No.
All right. Do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that taking a plea will subject you to deportation or other immigration changes?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. King, what plea do you wish to enter? Guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Thank you. I accept your plea and find that it is freely and voluntarily given. And Mr. King, once again, your sentence will be an adjudication time served. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look, sir.
Eric Spar on page 4.
Page 4.
We may have
He's
to-
approaching,
He's
Judge.
coming up.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Spar. You're before the court this afternoon on count 1, criminal mischief, over $1,000. Counts 2 and 3 are each misdemeanor capiases. Those are municipal ordinance violations for battery and resisting without violence. Count 4 is an out-of-county felony hold. That is out of Volusia County with a no bond hold that is not for magistrate. I find probable cause, and I'll hear from the parties.
Judge, considering as a no bond hold out of Volusia, nothing kept from the defense.
Yes, Judge, there's no offer from the city as well, because it's for the battery charge.
Okay.
The city Fort Lauderdale needs victim contact, victim input.
Okay. Anything from the state?
Only thing I ask is no return to this business.
All right. And the business is Mama Lucy's Pizzeria.
Yes, Judge.
All right, so Mr. Spar, I'm going to leave the standard bonds in place at this time. There will also be a no return order, which means that you are not to return to the pizza restaurant, Mama Lucy's, where this incident allegedly occurred. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and Mr. Payne, is that all I have for you?
Yes, that's it, and we'll see Mr. Spar tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much. You too. All right, so I'll start going down the rest of our list. Next will be Brianna Lacasse.
North Broward.
Thank you.
Brower.
Thank you, Deputy. Good afternoon, Ms. Lacasse.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Ms. Lacasse, you're before the court on count 1, DUI, alcohol or drugs, first offense. Count 2, refusing to submit to DUI test. I find probable cause, and I will hear from the parties. Yes.
I'm going to be seeking a bond increase to $2,000. Also, should she post this bond, I'm going to ask that Ms. Lacoste be supervised by a pretrial release with the TAD monitor, no driving, no alcohol intoxicants, and random testing. I'm very concerned considering Ms. Lacoste was arrested January 12th for a DUI, and she posted a $500 bond, and now, 10 days later, is getting arrested for her second pending DUI.
Thank you. Mr. Reedy?
Judge, I'd ask you to leave the bond in place. I believe Ms. Lacoste can't afford to self-bond. I was going to ask the court to sign a property order and phone order for her. She has been a resident of Florida for 9 years. She's been living in the same location for the last 8.5 years. She's been employed as a bartender for the last 9 years. She's also done some social work. And, you know, I understand where the state is coming from. Obviously, she's going through a pretty bad patch right now. But I don't know that she's going to be able to self-bond on a $2,000 bond, Your Honor.
All right, I will sign the photo and phone orders as requested. I'm going to leave the bond at $500. However, should Ms. Lacasse post that bond, she will be placed on pretrial supervision with a TAD monitor. I'm also going to order that she be subjected to random testing. Ms. Lacasse, that means no alcohol, no intoxicants. I'm also going to order no driving for the time being. Ms. Lacasse, do you understand those release conditions?
Yes,
All right, thank you.
Your Honor.
Good luck, Ms. Lacasse.
Thank you.
Jennifer Weir. Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Weir.
Hi.
Ms. Weir, you're before the court this afternoon on 2 counts. They are both for out-of-state felony holds. These are out of the state of Georgia. They have no bond holds in place. I find probable cause. And Ms. Weir, since these are out-of-state holds, that means you'll be going before the extradition judge to discuss how that matter is going to be handled further. Thank you. Xavier Sosa.
Judge, he's here, he's gonna require Spanish interpreter.
Okay, I'll put,
Oh, and one's right there.
there we go.
Senor Sosa.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Great.
Good afternoon. Will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
I do. For the record, Igor Felicioni, Spanish interpreter.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. Sosa.
Buenas tardes, señor Sosa.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
You are before the court on a misdemeanor capias.
Señor está frente a la corte por una orden de captura por un delito de menor cuantía.
The charge in that matter is petty theft.
El cargo en ese asunto es un robo de menor cuantía.
I find probable cause,
Hay que hay motivo fundado
and I'll hear from the parties.
y en este momento voy a escuchar los abogados partes.
Judge, I'm gonna be asking the court to consider releasing Mr. Sosa on pretrial release.
Su señoría, en este momento la defensa le pide a la corte que considere liberar al señor Sosa en las condiciones estándar previas a juicio.
Judge, Mr. Sosa is 63 years old, been living in our community for 20 plus years.
El señor Sosa tiene más de 63 años y ha vivido en nuestra comunidad por más de 20.
Unfortunately, he's financially indigent, he's homeless at this time.
Desafortunadamente, el señor se encuentra en indigencia financiera. En estos momentos no tiene hogar.
My understanding, Judge, when I asked him as far as why he missed court, he explained to me, unfortunately, when he was homeless, he was a victim of a robbery.
Entiendo cuando le pregunté al señor por qué él había faltado a su fecha de corte. Él me dijo que cuando él estaba en estado de indigencia, él fue atracado.
All his belongings were taken and also like the notice of when he had to go to court, so he didn't remember when he had to go back to court.
Y lo que ocurrió fue que todas sus pertenencias fueron robadas, incluyendo la notificación de presentarse en la corte, y por tanto el señor no recordaba qué fecha se tenía que presentar en la corte.
Now, he did sign up with the Public Defender's Office today.
Él sí aplicó para tener los servicios del servicio público el defensor público el día de hoy.
I did advise him it's still his responsibility to find out when his court date is, and I advise him he can call our office, the public defender, or come to the clerk's office directly and ask when it's his future court date to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yo sí le notifiqué al señor que era su responsabilidad, que para que esto no pasara nuevamente, que tenía que ponerse en contacto con la oficina del defensor público o presentarse a la secretaría de la corte para no perderse su próxima fecha de corte.
So, Judge, at this time, he did acknowledge, did tell me he will be coming back to court. I believe this happened at a Publix in which the alleged merchandise was about $24, so I'm asking if the court would consider releasing him under supervision.
El señor reconoce lo que pasó, que ocurrió en un Publix en que la mercancía que supuestamente fue tomada fue un total de $24. En este momento le pido a la corte que libere al señor bajo su propio reconocimiento.
Unfortunately, history has shown that when Mr. Sosa is released ROR, he does not come back to court.
Su señoría, la fiscalía apunta que cuando el señor Sosa ha sido, la historia nos enseña que cuando el señor Sosa ha sido liberado bajo su propia responsabilidad, él no se presenta en las siguientes fechas de la corte.
I hear that Mr. Sosa needs some assistance, and I think that's a reason to get him in front of a judge as quickly as possible.
Aparentemente el señor Sosa necesita algo de asistencia y ese es un motivo fuerte por el cual hay que procurar que el señor esté frente a un juez lo antes posible.
His last arrest was November 29th of 2018 when he got picked up on a capias.
Su último arresto ocurrió el 29 de noviembre del 2018 cuando fue arrestado por una orden de captura.
And that was because he gave a false name to law enforcement.
Y eso fue porque le dio un nombre falso a la gente de seguridad.
He was arrested in October 2016 at the airport on a 1997, a warrant on a 1997 case.
Fue arrestado en un aeropuerto en octubre del 2016 por una orden de captura de 1997.
And now he's here today because once again he failed to appear in court.
Y ahora está aquí nuevamente porque no se presentó a la corte.
I know Mr. Sosa is telling the court he will appear, but his history just doesn't indicate that.
Yo entiendo que el señor Sosa le esté diciendo a la corte que él sí va a presentarse, pero su historial sugiere algo lo contrario.
Going to leave the bond in place at this time. and let Mr. Sosa go before his division judge to further address the matter.
En este momento la corte va a mantener la fianza en donde está y para que el señor Sosa se presente frente a su juez de división y se resuelva el asunto. Gracias.
Is there anyone else at Maine that needs a Spanish interpreter?
No one else, Judge.
Okay, anyone, any of the other facilities?
Not as I've been advised, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Igor. Have a good afternoon. Next will be Kevin Mendoza.
Mr. Mendoza, I've been informed bonded, Judge.
All right, thank you. For the record, I find probable cause. Joshua James.
Medical reset.
Okay, thank you. Roman Pierre Philando.
He's here at Main, Judge. Come on up,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Pierre. He's approaching Judge Main.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Philando. Mr. Philando, for the record, you're before the court on 2 counts. Count 1, possession with intent to purchase hallucinogen. Count 2, possession or use of drug paraphernalia. I find probable cause, and I have been advised by confinement that your bond has been posted. Marlon Gordon.
Medical?
Okay. Mr. Gordon will be a medical reset. All right, so let's go over to our hearing docket. We'll start with the misdemeanor docket. I'm sorry, no, Mr. Gordon's a medical reset. Sure. Okay, first up will be Jeffrey Dorval.
He's approaching Judge. He's here at Main. Come on up,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Dorval.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dorval.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Dorval's here on a 30-day motion. State,
This is a second look, Your Honor.
this is a second look.
Yes.
I'm showing this is from the 28th.
This is 26 days. when
Oh,
he
you're
was-
right. Okay.
Yeah, he had VOP holds when he first got arrested that he's been county sentenced on. He's county sentenced till February 24th. I could check, I don't know what impact resolving this case would have with the DWI.
Judge, that is correct. My understanding also, when he completes his county sentence, I believe his probation is terminated. Mr. Dorval has asked me if the court would consider resolving this matter, so we want to see if the state had a plea offer for him.
Do you have an offer, State?
Just checking his driving record.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll wait. Hector, do you want an offer?
Yes, we're waiting.
The offer being adjudication time served. This will be, from what I can tell, a second within 5.
That's it.
I called my first one in 2015.
He wishes to accept this state's offer, Judge.
All right, and have you discussed with Ms. Dorval the issue of what happens if he has 3 or more DWLS?
I have, Judge.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dorval, you wish to accept the state's offer at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. And Mr. Dorval, do you understand everything we've discussed here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to trial, but you are waiving that right by taking a plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No, ma'am.
All right, and do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that taking a plea will subject you to deportation or other immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Dorval, what plea do you wish to enter, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Thank you. I accept your plea and find that it is freely and voluntarily given. Once again, your sentence will be an adjudication time served. Good luck to you. This is on count 1 and 2. The correct, dismiss 3 and 4. Thank you. Jonathan Valle.
He's approaching, Judge. He's here, man. Come on up, Mr. Valle.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Valle.
Hi.
Mr. Valle is here on a second look.
It's actually, I know what it says on the docket, it's actually a DUI, third outside of over 10 years.
Okay.
Your Honor was kind enough to ROR, not require monetary bond, with and you ordered pretrial supervision, TAD monitor, random testing. I imagine pretrial has not been able to verify a residence yet.
That's the issue, and speaking of Mr. Valle, he just managed to get the information of a friend, Lewis, who resides in Coral Springs, and that's the address he can provide, so I'm assuming pretrial is going to follow up with them, verify the address, and then everything should work out, Judge.
All right, then I'm going to take no action at this time, and we'll see how it goes with pretrial. Thank you. Yes. Is that the address that has? Okay. Okay, that's, thank you. All right, let's go over to the felony docket. First one on my list will be Brandon Whitfield.
No problem.
Thank you. Earth Broward, do you have Brandon Whitfield? I can't hear you now. You turned it off.
He's at court downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we will have him reset.
Well, Your Honor, I wouldn't,
No?
because this is a time-sensitive motion, so I would announce to the record.
Okay, go
The
ahead.
state has filed information.
Okay. Is he in court because he's at his arraignment hearing by chance?
I doubt it. Well, let me check. Maybe. It's possible. Let me check that. It's filed under a felony case number. That's what I'm checking right now, Your Honor. No, it doesn't make sense. I checked BSO system. It's up to you. If you look in Odyssey, it shows the information was filed January 17th. I don't even know why you guys filed the motion, frankly. That's not really important right now, but it's up to you.
Yes, Judge, I'm going to withdraw the motion at this time,
Okay, all right,
based on what I see is in Odyssey.
okay, thank you. All right. Next will be Sean Boston. His caseworker is signed in.
But I haven't been able to reach them, so I guess, is that him?
Okay.
Is
Hi,
that-
Mr. Boston.
Is that him?
How you doing?
Good,
Is that him?
thank you. All right, so, Mr. Reedy, do you want a few minutes to speak to him?
I do, Judge. Right now, he's got a $2,000 bond. It's $500 on each of the 4 counts.
Okay,
Ma'am, are you able to post that kind of a bond?
Well, I'm his caseworker. My name is Rosemary McMaster. I'm with APD Agency for Persons with Disabilities, and I've been Mr. Boston's caseworker for about 12 years. His family is trying to put the money together, but there's some difficulty in raising it. I can't do it because
Right.
I'm his caseworker, but
It's hard.
if he comes out, I've been his caseworker for 12 years, and I just want you to know that he has quite a lot of support through the agency, and we'll do whatever is necessary to hopefully keep him out of trouble and make sure he makes all of his court appearances.
okay. Well, let me just ask first. Mr. Reedy, do you want any time to speak to him, or are you okay to proceed from here?
Well, based on what we've just heard, Judge, if his prior record is not extensive, I'd ask the court to consider pretrial release.
Okay, I'm here from the state.
My concern making any modifications to this division, Your Honor, is Mr. Boston has a
I
lengthy
go to
history.
Hold
I
up.
go to school.
Mr. Boston, hang on one second, okay? It's the state attorney's turn. Let me just hear from him first.
Mr. Boston has a lengthy history of cases that have been before Judge Porth in mental health court. I count a total of about 9 cases. While dated, the last time I see he was put on pretrial in 2012, he had to get picked up. He was on 5 cases total. He had to get picked up because he had violated his pretrial. And I understand he is his caseworker here, and but for a judge to properly mold and fashion a release order, I think some more information is going to be needed.
How close are the family to coming up with the bond?
Not very close, because I've been trying to get them to come up with the money since this happened, and so far, no good.
Do you think they could make a $1,000 bond?
Because she wasn't able to come up with anything since Saturday.
Do they have any
Wednesday.
collateral to go through a bondsman, anything like that?
No, sir.
Just to let Your Honor know, Judge Bailey already cut the bonds in half. The total bond at the time of arrest on the 4 counts was $4,000. He cut each of them to $500.
Based on the history that's been presented, I'm not sure if there are potentially other issues that are going on that just aren't before the court today. And based on his history, then he perhaps could end up back in Judge Porth's division. Unfortunately, I'm not able to sign a transfer order directly here from first appearances, but if he goes to his division judge, then that could be a possibility. So at this time, I'm going to leave the bonds in place as they are.
Tell them to do the best that they can, but we're going to get him into a mental health
Hey, Miss-
court. We've
Miss
already
Rose.
flagged his case as having
Miss Rose.
those issues.
Miss Rose,
Yes.
they got my check. My check card is at home.
I
get
know,
$200 on it.
Sean, I know. Okay,
I got
okay,
$200
okay.
on it.
Sean, okay,
It's on the 25th.
okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr.
Thank
Boston.
you. I'll work on it. I'll do the
Okay.
best I can.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, ma'am. Calvin Creech. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Creech.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Mr. Creech is here on a 30-day motion, is that correct? Okay, and what's going on in his case?
not being held on anything else at this time.
All right. Mr. Creech, since the state has not yet filed these charges formally, you are entitled to an ROR, which means that you will be released today. However, I just need to advise you that though you are going to be released today, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the end of the case. So it will be your responsibility to keep in contact with your attorneys and the clerk's office to monitor any court dates that you need to be present for. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next will be Timothy Snow.
He's at Conti also, Judge.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Snow.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Snow is here on a 30-day motion as well.
So, Your Honor, I'm just considering the nature of the offense, the burglary of a dwelling.
Yes.
Today is the 32nd day. I'm just going to ask that this matter be reset for tomorrow.
Any objection, Mr. Reedy?
No, it appears Mr. Linder's math is correct.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to bring you back tomorrow, Mr. Snow. If they haven't filed charges by then, you'll be released.
Okay,
All right? Well, so we'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Snow. Adesh Prasad.
I don't think he's in custody.
Do we know what facility he's at?
It's right there.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Prasad.
Yeah, I'm a drug addict and I need help. I just want to let you know that.
Well, thank you for your honesty, Mr. Prasad. Just give me a moment. Let me hear from the attorneys first. So we have a 30-day
Cases
motion.
here.
I'm sorry?
He's got two cases.
Yes?
The 14952 case has been filed.
Okay.
The state filed charges of strong arm robbery and burglary of a dwelling. The dealing in stolen property, theft, and loitering and prowling were dropped. And on case number 15193, filing decision has not been made yet, so he is entitled to an ROR on those counts.
Is there anything else that's holding him besides these?
And at the end of the day, when BSO gets the paperwork and updates everything, he's going to have a $20,000 bond from the burglary and the strong arm robbery. So, Brian, if you want to talk to him, ultimately what he decides to do in the ag assault comes down to, can he post $21,500 worth of bond?
Prasad, your attorney's going to call you on the phone there. Right now, I'm going to give him a moment to talk to you, okay? Just one moment.
I appreciate it. Sure.
Thank you.
He's going to have a total bond of, without the ag assault, of $21,050 and $21,500.
Based on my conversation with Mr. Prasad, Your Honor, at this time, we're going to withdraw the motion.
All right, very well. And Mr. Reedy, only because of the comments that Mr. Prasad made himself today, is there any interest perhaps in the SAP program?
I'm sorry?
I'm already in the SAP
Oh,
program
you're in
right
that?
now.
Okay, you're in that now, Mr. Prasad, okay.
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to make sure that he was able to take advantage of any resources that were available to him. All right.
All right, thank you guys.
All right,
Thank
good
you,
luck,
Mr.
Mr. Prasad.
All right.
All right, Junior LaFale,
Conti.
thank you.
Good morning.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. LaFale. Mr. LaFale is here on a second look hearing.
He has a $1,100 total bond on a possession of MDMA and misdemeanor possession of cannabis.
Well, apparently he's not able to make that bond, Judge. So if his record's not too bad on these nonviolent charges, I'd ask the court to consider pretrial release.
I don't believe his record is that concerning. I don't know if Mr. Reedy wants to inquire, or if the court would be inclined to inquire just about residency.
Do you have a place to stay, Mr. LaFale?
Yes.
Where would you be staying?
3720 8th Place, Vero Beach, Florida. That's my original address, but I stay with my wife, mother, and Fort Lauderdale, because my wife had bipolar, but I reside in Vero Beach.
So if you were released, would you be living with your wife?
Now I live at my home address in Vero Beach.
In Vero Beach.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, the court notice is going to be going to that address on 8th Place in Vero Beach. Okay?
That's where you'll be getting your notice, is at that Vero Beach address.
Yes,
So make
yes,
sure.
yes, sir. I've been staying there for like 16 years.
Okay.
3720 8th Place.
All right, hang on one second, Mr.
I don't have
LaFale.
an objection to pretrial random testing, Your Honor.
All right, so the state has no objection to you being released, but that does not mean that's the end of the case. You're going to have to report to pretrial release. There'll be random drug testing, right? And tomorrow morning when you get out, you have to report to pretrial release. The deputy up there will give you a map as to how to find it. It's here in downtown Fort Lauderdale. But it's your responsibility to make sure you come back to court.
I will.
Yes, I'll give him permission to do that. Mr. LaFale, just so that you understand, since I am releasing you to pretrial, you must report to them within 24 hours of your release, and if you fail to do that, then a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Lionel Beaumont.
Prior?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Beaumont.
Good morning.
Mr. Beaumont is here on a second look hearing. I believe his bond is currently set at $750. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge. He also has two other charges where his bond is $500 on each of those charges. So actually his bond is $1,750. He's asking if the court can help him out with the bond on the charge that is before you this afternoon.
My Honor? My Honor?
Yes, Mr. Beaumont.
If you can do a SAP or you could send me to, can I do R&R or pretrial release?
Okay, well, hang on a second, all right? Let me finish hearing from your attorney, and then I'm going to hear from the state.
Yes, ma'am. Look, if you see me again, you just send me the prison. I'll come back to your jailhouse. No, serious.
All right, well, hopefully I won't be seeing you again anytime soon, Mr. Beaumont. So,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, Mr. Reedy.
No, I just was going to ask the court to reduce the bond as much as possible. Unless he posts the $1,000 bond on his other two charges, he's not going to be getting released anyway. And we discussed that before court this afternoon. But he's not going to be able to make the $750 either. And So I was asking the court if you consider maybe $100 or something like that. Maybe his family can come up with some kind of money to get him out.
There really is no reason for, there's got to be a reason for a bond modification. The two cases he's out on are the same charge that he got rearrested for. He was out on 2 counts of felony theft. He was out, his bond was reduced despite his priors. He got arrested for the same charge. His bond's been determined he was not a good risk and surrendered the 500 on each count. It's, obviously aggravating in nature that will now be his 3rd pending felony theft. He had another theft last year that he actually pled out a month before he was arrested on the new felony thefts. And actually, one moment, Judge.
Again, just send him to
I
prison.
realize this, but Mr. Beaumont has another pending felony case. He's out on an ROR for possession of cocaine. So he has violated his release conditions in that case as well.
Is that?
That was, he was ROR'd, and actually, when he was released on pretrial, Your Honor, he violated pretrial. Judge Porth signed a warrant. He was arrested for resisting without violence. He was brought back into custody on being held no bond. The state did not file an information after he'd been held 33 days total, so he was ROR'd, and then the state filed an information thereafter. Actually, I'm sorry, Judge, it had nothing to do with the 33 days. Judge Porth ROR'd him at his arraignment. And yes, it is currently, it's before Judge Porth in drug court.
Okay. All right.
Well, my Honor, if you see me again, just send him to prison.
I got you, Mr. Beaumont. For right now, based on the information that I've got, I'm going to leave the bond in place, and Mr. Beaumont can address the other matters before his division judge. I'm not sure if there's other issues that are perhaps going on there that are not before me today, but I'll let his division judge address that. Good luck to you, Mr. Beaumont.
So what it is?
I'm gonna leave it as is for today.
When do I see you again?
Well, hopefully you won't have to see me anytime soon. Good luck to you.
Oh, you get an earlier court date?
You're gonna get a court date soon. Your attorney will contact you and let you know. You'll be seeing your division judge.
Okay, so my other court is March 13th.
Okay. All right, then that's what you'll have, okay? Good luck to you.
That's long, man.
Keith Upham, excuse me. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Upham. Okay, this is a second look.
2 counts of felony theft, 1 count of resisting without violence. Total bond is $1,550.
Arrow.
Judge, Mr. Upham, as you see, he has his bond is $1,550. He can't afford that. No one's going to be able to post his bond. He's asking to be released ROR, Judge.
Fortunately, Judge, I don't believe anyone reasonably can have any confidence that Mr. Upham will show back up to court. From what I can tell, his last 12 arrests going back to 2016 were all on capiases. He was arrested January 3rd of this year for a capias on an MO, capias on a theft June 18th of last year, capias on an MO May 28th of last year, capias on an MO April 3rd of last year, December 5th, 2018, capiases on an MO and a state charge, 6/27/18, March 4th, 2018, August 26th, 2017, goes on and on.
All right. At this time, I'm gonna leave the bonds in place.
The only thing I will say, I understand his priors, his history, but Mr. Upham did advise me he's looking forward to disputing these allegations. He's looking to fighting this. I believe it was at a local convenience store, Sprouts, but he wants to have his day in court in reference to this case. So that's something very motivating him that he's going to be coming back to court in order to address this case. So that's why he's asking the court to reconsider and releasing him ROR.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to deny the request and leave the bonds in place. I'm sure he'll be having a hearing before his division judge shortly so that he can take that matter up with the division judge. Thank you. Michael Lewis. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Lewis.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Good, thank you. And Mr. Lewis is here on a second look as well. I believe his bond is currently set at $750.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Lewis was arrested January 19th. He had just been released from county jail 10 days earlier, January 9th, after he violated probation on a delivery of cannabis. He was sentenced to 270 days. He also got picked up on 2 additional thefts. After he pled everything out, he was released January 9th. He also has 2018 theft and resisting a merchant, Grand Theft Auto 2017, Grand Theft Auto 2017.
Thank you. Mr. Reedy?
The judge is pretty clear he's not going to be able to make the bond that is currently set. I know he has had contact with the criminal justice system in the past. This is a nonviolent crime. It's a felony because of his prior record. So I'd ask the court to consider pretrial release for Mr. Lewis.
Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Lewis.
To be honest, ma'am, I'm only asking to be released R&R. I can consider myself not being a flight risk. I'm only asking for that because I have an opportunity of working, and I'm just trying to get myself back together. This new charge that I just received, yeah, it was a poor decision. I'm only asking for a chance so I can be able to get myself to present myself to this new job I'm trying to attend. I was just trying to receive clothing so I can be, presented. And I know it was a stupid choice. I'm just only asking this opportunity to be on art.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. State,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have any objection to him being placed on pretrial supervision? What was the reason for that? Mr. Lewis, where are you living now?
To be honest, ma'am, I must admit I do have relatives that I am seeking right now to seek shelter to live with. Since I've been released, I've been on the street. I do have family members in Pompano that I have to get linked with. I'm trying to get contact, even though I'm in here right now. But you have to, it's a collect calls right now. But I know if I am released, I can be able to get a better, connection with them and let them know what's going on, the situation, and I believe that I can be over there at their shelter at the moment. It's hard for me to get a hold of them because the collect calls. I know that if I am released by an R&R without monitor, I know from my heart that I'm not a flight risk because when I violated, I did turn myself in. They wouldn't have to find me. I do know that for a fact. I'm just asking for that opportunity, Your Honor.
Okay, well, what if we have him placed on pretrial pending verification of an address?
I'm sorry. I can't hear you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do, Mr. Lewis, is I am willing to release you to pretrial supervision. However, that is going to be pending pretrial's verification of an address for you, which means that we have to have a good address before you're going to be released to them. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I can understand that, but right now, it's hard for me to get a hold of anybody. For me to get a hold of anybody, I would have to be released to go.
Well, that's not true because we have Mr. Reedy, who's your attorney, here in the courtroom with me, and if you need him to get a hold of someone for you, then he can facilitate that process.
I'd be happy to do that.
Okay,
Okay, and what pretrial is advising me, so that you understand, Mr. Lewis, is she's just told me that if you have an address to give them, they will send someone out to the address to verify it for you. But in the meantime, if you're having an issue making calls, you can discuss that with Mr. Reedy, and he can call somebody for you, I'm sure.
is there a number that you can help me call right at the moment? Right?
Yeah, I'll call you up there as soon as this hearing's over. But do you have the address?
I don't know this address that I'm talking about. I don't know it by heart, but I know this one number, which is a family member of mine, it's my nephew, and I don't know his address. I have not yet been to his home. He just moved there. He just started a home. He has a moving business that he's connected with, and me and him was just linking in together.
Yeah, why don't you give me his name and number?
His name is Ricardo Joseph, and his number is 305 846 3239.
Okay.
305
46 32 39.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll make an effort to get a hold of him.
All right. So, Mr. Lewis, you've heard what's been said, so as soon as they're able to verify that address, then you'll be released to pretrial, okay?
All right.
Good luck.
Is it with monitor?
No, this is going to be without.
All right.
But
I
please,
appreciate you.
please do not make me regret taking a chance to do that, all right?
No, ma'am. I tell you, I wake up every morning regretting that I made
All
that
right.
stupid move.
Well, that's all right. We don't have to talk about it anymore, but just
Yes, ma'am.
do what you need to do, okay? Good luck.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Michael Green. Bonded? Thank you. He bonded, yes. All right, that brings us to the end of our afternoon docket for first appearances. Thank you, everyone. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow.